Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Flubcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing the TNT performance against Barbados. We're going through the entire squad and looking at everybody individually. Before I do, though, I don't want to beat a dead horse. I'm just going to talk about some pros and cons. I'm going to try to stay away from some of the things I discussed when I did the Barbados review. But again, I just want to reiterate that I thought Barbados's tight five was very, very strong. They took control of the game, and that is not a insult to the TNT players. I think that's more just a compliment to Bradley Hayward and Antonio Gibbons and Lewis Johnson and Rajiv Grant and those guys are really stepping up their scrummaging and just moving forward with it. So it is something that we're going to have to take a look at when I do a review of Mexico. I'll try to do a comparison as well and see where they are and see what we're worried about. Quick note for some of the younger players there. You saw that Bradley Hayward for Barbados, when they got that scrum engagement there and he set his hand placement. A lot of times, it didn't really happen in this game here, but a lot of times when the Trinidadian props bound, they had that bent arm with their elbow pointing downwards. Super technicality. Most props won't really take this on. Our younger props, it really shows when you have that downward arm. If you're pulling the shirt down, referees sometimes noticing they could see the material being pulled down, and that would influence them about who is collapsing the scrum. Quick note that most of you all will not take on, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Let's go through some of the cons of the game, some of the things that I thought stood out and have us a little concerned. We'll go through the overarching pros, and then we'll get straight to the athletes themselves, what it's all about. Some of the cons, well, I don't think this is going to shock anybody. As we knew, the fitness levels were not where we want them to be. A few of the guys were brought in late, so we got that injury to Jarrell McFarlane, and it completely changed the game plan. We wanted to just bring on AC and had Jamal and those boys for a certain amount of time. When we lost that option with the front row, a lot of things had to change. We had to ask some guys to step up, and they most certainly did. So I don't want to stick on that too much. But what I will stick on is the instability coming off from some of the bench players. When you're asked from the bench to say, look, you are coming on after a big platform is laid for you, and we expect you all to up the tempo. Not come on and let the same guys who are on the field continue to do their work and you're almost just filling it. We need you now to raise. We need you to start upping your tackle count, giving the other guys who are starting to fall off tackles that chance to say, look, I'm here now. I'm going to take it. Let's go. Everybody, let's follow me. Let's go. Up the tempo. And a few guys came on and actually went silent. And that is a big concern there. There was a lack of ownership for who is going to come on and really increase it. A few of the boys came on and were fantastic, and we'll discuss that as well. I also was a little critical of some of these substitutes, the times they were made. So again, remember, because it was so hot and humid, and you saw about 8 guys pulling up, not just from Trinidad, Barbados as well, with injuries, calves were just going out left, right, and centre. And when we had injuries to Nathaniel Cadiz and Rory O'Farrell, that's where we start to say, okay, well, who's going to fill these shoes? Who's going to fill those scrum half and fly half shoes? And I mentioned earlier, which is why I was kind of leaning towards Ballington starting, that Jonathan Stewart also got took off in the first half. So we started to lose that scrum half option there. And on the bench, we had maybe Jeremy Bonas, who was the next in line to come on. But it was really interesting because we then brought on Jeremy Bonas as a winger, and they were cramping up and say, okay, wait, if somebody goes down now, who are we going to bring on at this stage? We just have to be a little bit more tactical and think through it. But again, I think a lot of it fell apart because of that late injury to Jarrell McFarlane. Um, a few other things, but I actually decided not to harp on those. Let's just go straight to the positives, okay? First thing, I would just say TNT were the dogs in the fight there, where I constantly say, and you look at some of the other games, you notice some players that when they're taking up the ball, that leg drive, that refusal to be taken down by the first point of contact, the dog, you're going down and you forcing other guys to get involved, the desperation to get the ball back, you're seeing that from some players. It's just absolutely shining through. Some guys, it's not shining through so much, and you have to ask yourself, you are there representing your country. Somebody's trying to bring you around. It is will against will. And you see some guys that just have that desperation to win. And we have one more game we're about to go in the final. Who is going to carry us home? That's the question. The coach is going to look back at the footage and say, who is going to, at the end of the day, carry us home if you could put them on the field? And a few guys increase their stock and a few guys decrease their stock. The second point, which I think really shocked Barbados and shocked me, was just how amazing it was that from this bend and not break defense, that TNT played, where we would let them work. We're fighting, but Barbados is just on the roll. They go in. When we get a turnover, and we don't care if it's in their 22, halfway line, our 22 on our own 5, the ability of some of our players, especially Rory O'Farrell, Dite, Jonathan Taylor, who, no matter the position, they look up, 0.5 seconds to assess the situation, and if they recognize space, they don't care if they're in their own goal line. If they say there's a problem here defensively that we could exploit, they're going to go. And we did that so well. The whole team, the whole crowd would go, kick it, get it out of there. And they would say, no, patient. 2 out passes, overlap, work their way up the field, make 30 yards, get tackled, reset it. And I think Barbados was shell-shocked. They were so expecting to say, we have them on the 5 here. They had a kick. And TNT just kept on exploiting it. When they saw the wingers press, as we talked about, or Callum Dunn had to shift defensively, Rory would look up, see some space, put it in the right spot. We would have chasers coming up, constantly just making Barbados think defensively and just draining them, working. They would work the entire way down the field. One mistake and Trinidad would make them pay, and they wouldn't just give back possession to Barbados. They would work them up the field, force Barbados to try to get something back from them and give away a penalty. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So congratulations, gentlemen. Lots of things to work on, as I said, with the scrum. A lot of stuff to work on with the fitness. I thought our options off the line out were really good. Again, when I'm looking at Mexico, we'll try to do a little comparison there. But let's not focus on that too much. Let's get straight to the players. Up first at the prop is Trezine McLean, who had a field day before that horrible calf injury that forced him off there. He was playing like the Trezine we know, utilizing him as a ball runner, making that point of contact, as I said, and just keep pumping, keep working. Everybody was just so inspired, and he was so worthy of getting that try there. He put in his shift. He was able to come off at the halfway mark, maybe like 45th minute, which was the game plan. Unfortunately, as I said, we weren't able to do that for a few other players that needed to. But Trezine did exactly what he asked. For 45 minutes, give everything, use yourself. As I said, Trezine had some trouble up front with some of the props here after that engagement, and he set there. It was challenging. I think when you look back at the footage, I think a few of you would agree with me. But Barbados had some quality tight 5. So I'm not going to throw him too much on anybody there. Trezine, they had a great game. Another guy who had a great game, as you'll hear this a lot, is Christopher Daniel. His throws in the line out so crisp. His movement around the park was crisp. His distribution was crisp as well. And he didn't make any silly decisions. If he wanted to pass the ball, but he noticed something was not on, he would pull it back and take it up. I ranked the guy a lot. If I had to be incredibly bad, just to say, Christopher Daniel afterwards when we're having beers, when your Barbados counterpart came to tell you something nice, just take the compliment, not his joke about beating them bad didn't come off so well, but otherwise on the field, Christopher, perfect performance. Ernest Wright, all the entire time training, being told, look, we only need 40 minutes from you, and then you reach there and we're like, Ernest, you got to start. And what a performance he had. Another guy who was taking it apart. We know his fitness level. I mean, that was not an easy condition. He worked very hard. Very, very hard. And again, the front row had some trouble there. Understandable. Just in terms of the amount of training they're doing. But Ernest Wright, I just wonder, as I'm saying before, I'm seeing some guys that are getting to the tail end of their careers. And I'm wondering who's going to put their hand up. We have to know now. We have to get those scrummaging sessions in now. If we're not going to be on the scrum machines, we got to get clubs involved as well. Get the young boys exposed to this level now while we still have the resource. And that goes for Lock as well, Jamal Clark. How are we going to replace that? Another guy that was taking it up like the Jamal we know, hard, aggressive, staying on his feet, just refusing to get down. That is I know it's just a poor term, but it's just that dog. You see some guys when they take it up, and they're going in super aggressive, but they make that contact and they're going down. That's fine. I've made it a big contact and I'm going down. And some guys just look so desperate for those extra inches and will do anything just to make sure that their team is going forward. And Jamal had a brilliant performance. And I'm just saying, in terms of the locks that are coming up as well, It is a big difference under Jamal that has to be caught up. Even his size, his weight, when that came out of the scrum, we were leading, I believe it was 27-7 when he gave up. He had a little bit of an incident there with Louis Johnson with a headbutt that gave him a yellow card, and everything started to fall apart after that, losing that extra weight from the scrum. Big performance by Askari Dawood, another guy who is there. He's one of the other members of the tight five for the future I'm looking at. You see what he's doing well. Played, again, another guy who takes it up aggressively. Followed the lead of Jamal, Trezine, and AC. Big performance by Askari. I keep on saying this is a person that we could build around here. He needs a partner coming up after Jamal. So who is going to stand up there? Who's going to stand up? I mean, people should be licking their lips. York and JJ and Liam, and you could just go through. I mean, there's so many. I know that y'all are gonna say he plays in the back row as well, but when Shakir De Freitas played against Barbados last year, he had a great game there. I mean, we need a little bulk as well. Moving on to the back row, Shaquille Dite. His standard, because of his fitness level, his willingness, his understanding the role to push the tempo, some taps and goals, just to keep that momentum going as well. So many turnovers at the breakdown. So many turnovers at the breakdown. Such a great option. Again, him and Rory just reading those same two superstars from Iran, just noticing when it's on, calling for the ball, trusting what the call is, going with it, making himself available. Dite had a unreal performance as captain. Unreal performance. Jonathan Stewart, open side, taken off at the halfway mark. Good performance. Jonathan did collapse. I mean, I put up as a joke, but I looked at it. Jonathan just has to be aware of his entry at the rocks. He's undersized, so sometimes he takes some angles to try to get in there, but they are going to get pinged. It's going to be a final, and we cannot give up momentum. You cannot do that. I keep on saying Jonathan Stewart is a great player to have in his squad. I think because of his versatility, he should come off the bench. And that is far from an insult. I'm talking about the need to get that tempo level raised coming off the bench. And he is a person that I look at and I know he will do that. If it's a 50-50 game or we need a spark, Jonathan Stewart could come off the bench and provide that spark. That's all I'm saying. Number 8, Wasim Oliver. That was a much better game by Wasim. That was a much better game. That's what I harassed him about taking ownership, and he did that. A lot of times when it was loose, the tight fives were taking it up, and he would get some ball going up. He was able to pick it up, throw a big stiff arm, get there. I still think he's given that 80 level, almost just polite level when he's taking it up, and I'm waiting for him to get to that 90, that 95 of when he still has this semi-politeness in his play that we need to get rid of and just say, look, we'll have beers and shake hands afterwards. When you're playing, stop trying to be polite. Get that man off of you. Throw whatever, hold whatever, do whatever. Desperation time, red alert, get them off. You know, you're too powerful to just get a guy comfortably down. Smash everything. That's all I'm saying. Nathaniel Katie's class, big performance by him. Again, just don't know who we could bring on off that side. When he started to go down, I was genuinely panicking, thinking, I think once we get a slower release from the base, everything is going to start falling apart. So he was able to push through onto Rory O'Farrell, immaculate. Again, just the recognition. We do not have another fly half like that in the country. People might disagree with me. I don't know how it's possible that you could disagree with me. That could just identify space so quickly. And his passing versatility, his tackling. He actually, I mean, there's so many areas. His kicking from the tee was unbelievable. His kicking out of hand was unbelievable. His recognition of space was great. I mean, everything that happened from the back line getting that was started with Rory. It was a wonderful performance. But actually, one person who a lot of people will say Jonathan Taylor. They'll say, oh, Taylor didn't score his usual 5 tries, so he have a bad game. And I just say, Jonathan Taylor, to me, continues to impress me and continues to mature in his role as well. Besides increasing his defense, where it just gets better and better. Before he had a few games there, I look back and I said, boy, he's getting pushed off a lot. He's cleaned up his defensive work. He's taken ownership. And so many of our under-19 players, they look so good going around. Everything has to be around the corner, but they never mature. And they get older and they still try to, and then they just look, everybody just starts pushing them out of bounds. You know what this man is going to do. Jonathan Taylor has learned everything about cutting back inside, utilizing. He makes so many half breaks. He was that second option that when Rory wanted to get something, instantly read what Rory wants to do, and his hands are great. He's so dangerous that defenses have to set on him. I actually thought that was one of Jonathan Taylor's better games, which is hard because he has so much stellar games. So big performance by Jonathan Taylor. The Leon Panther did a lot right with distribution. Again, his pace is slightly off, so a few times he got that half break. He went through. He didn't have a pace to get that separation. He also, I mean, he's a little getting a little older as well. Might not want that full contact, so got that pass off maybe a little bit early. But Leon did well defensively. One or two mistakes led to that try for Simon John's second try, but did a ton well. Leon stepped up to the plate when they needed him. Is he going to be the first option going forward? We're going to see who's coming out for training, but he is going to push that. He's a person that offers so much, could very well be involved going to Mexico as well. I would not be surprised. Okay, but a lot of guys now are saying this is final. Who is coming out? I hope we could get everybody out. Onto the wings there, Carlin Alexander, 2 tries, just unstoppable when he has that momentum going forward. Distribution wise, I think it's smart where Rory, Taylor, um, getting it in the hands. Those guys just use it so well. Dight would roll around as well. Sometimes you have to miss Carlin. Not the cleanest hands, but when he gets going forward, wow. A big man shouldn't be able to move that fast, but did a lot right and shut me up playing some great ball on the wing there just as a finisher. I don't know why I ever doubted him. Another man who is just a different class is Isaiah Small for Defence Force. I mean, his defensive work, even coming off the wing to make that extra shot. I'm talking about guys who just want ownership and want and refuse to think. He is so involved that he would never just hang out on his wing. If he sees that there's a deficiency defensively, he will get there. I will just say, though, just in terms of knowing the law, that a few times when he's looking to poach the ball, the tackle is made by somebody else and he gets over it. He has a bad tendency to let his elbows touch the ground. That is interpreted these days as not supporting your body weight and could easily be given as a penalty. Just be aware. Even some tackles, he makes the tackle and he's so quick to get back to try to get over it. These days you see so many people that make the tackle and they just do like a quick kind of just show of their hands to the ref to say, look, I've released the tackle play and I'm re-engaging here. And a few times it could go, it's all up to the referee. And on that day he utilized it perfectly. Even up and under, you saw where he just blasted guys. People do not want to tackle him. You do not want to play against this man because he's great defensively, he's great offensively. So well done, Isaiah. And last but not least is Jamal Stewart, who did a lot right. I mean, Jamal Stewart made a lot of the right calls. For some reason, I don't know what's going on with his boots. He slipped a few times. A few times he had some very uncharacteristic knock-ons, so he definitely did not play to the full caliber of the player. But in terms of recognizing where the space is, he made a lot of right calls. Okay, not his best game in regard to retaining possession. He will rectify that. Don't throw the baby with the bathwater. He does a lot right. Onto the bench, Marcus Daniel, when he came on, that's the ball carrier we want. It's hard to judge Marcus in the sense that we had that yellow card. We lost a lot of size from Jamal, so it's not a fair reflection of what's happening. I like Marcus a lot. I think he excels coming off the bench. Enjoyed it. Travis Carmichael, same. Increase the tempo, was a willing at taking the ball up. There was one or two where, again, guys, we were up 27-7 or 28-7 or whatever it was at that stage. And we allowed them to creep in the game. There was one where we were going forward. We were on their 40-meter line and Carmichael got a quick ball. And for some reason, he tried to do a quick pass. And it was a knock-on. And we're just like, guys, let's play the percentages. You know what you're brought on to do to finish. You're going to have to take this contact. Don't give it to a tired guy running a 50-50 angle. But, I rank Carmichael a lot. Kareem Figaro, when he came on again, he has a lot of versatility, but I did not see Kareem willing to go in the areas of the field where all the action was. I was there doing commentary with his brother as well, and we just didn't seem to be calling his name a lot. He was getting to a lot of breakdowns to secure them, even in defense. And I was thinking, we have so many big, tired guys. Let them go there. He should be pulling fat guys next to him and say, look, you take the post. I want this next tackle. I want it. But he was comfortable at the post there. And he said, well, I have it set there. But we need the guys coming on the bench to want it, to say, look, you all have carried us this far. Let me finish all here. I'm going to carry you all here. You all just keep rolling. Believe in me. That's what we want. Giddis Philip. I like Giddis. You all know I like him as an 8. But the nice thing about Giddis is we needed size in that second row with substitutions, and Jamal eventually going to get a yellow card and stuff. And he was great. He went on then, did his role. Do I think he has to get his fitness up? Obviously, the entire bench needs to look in the mirror and say, what do I have 3 weeks? What am I going to do with myself? We have Ruggerama this week. Are we going to use it as an opportunity to get fitter? Are we going to say, well, I don't want to risk getting injured? It's a final, guys. You either have to give 100% for the next 3 weeks or just concede. And then the rest of the time, you'll look in the mirror and say, did I do everything I could have done to win it? And if you're living with that regret just because you didn't want to just put in that little extra work, that falls on you. One guy who came off the bench, Nigel Barlington, was unreal. The man, we talk about taking ownership. He won 4 turnover balls in 20 minutes of being on the field, pushing the tempo all the time, somehow always seemed to be around the ball, always being involved. That's what you want to see. You want to see guys come on and just up the tempo, and Barlington shone in that role. Joseph Koshy came on for a limited amount of time, again, fills a lot of voids very easily. You could depend on him, moved, showed his voice, doing a lot of movement and talking, taking over. So a lot of these guys are so tired they started to fall off. He took ownership. He was just talking and pointing and doing everything right. So well done, Joseph Koshy. Jeremy Bonas, I will reiterate, I think Jeremy should stay and get more time playing scrum half if he wants to have an international career. I don't think that right now he's shining as a winger. And I like Jeremy a lot, as I say. I hope he continues to prove me wrong. And I would just use this as an example. We're talking about guys who have the bandwidth that's going to add to the team or suck team bandwidth away. And Bonas, this is me being a very friendly response to you there. In the clubhouse afterwards and after the game, the losing team Barbados is there shaking hands with their opposite number. Congratulations, we're backing you all from Mexico. All the Caribbean is behind you all. I hope you all could do it. Buying beers, it was great. Bonas, you are the side there kind of half sulking. Oh, I only got 5-10 minutes. What the hell? Blah, 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 blah. Look, you're on the winning side. Shake some hands, say thank you. I'll keep pushing myself, but you don't want the coaches to say, Jesus Christ, this man is sulking all the time and stuff like that. You're gonna get dropped, which is you don't want, right? So work through the frustration and just say, I am on the bench. My role is to get the team to win. My role in this job, I'm not starting. So what am I going to do? Get the starters in the best position. And if I get 5 seconds on the field, I'm going to give 100% for that 5 seconds and thank everybody for it. And the last person who unfortunately didn't get any game time was Wasim Stewart. His time will come as well. I was when I looked at it, especially with the potential injuries, I thought Wasim was going to come on the wing there. But again, that's just my opinion. So congratulations to TNT. I saved some of the comments. I think we got away with some at the scrums, but there's so many areas that we shone. Now, are we going to have the dedication to say, let's put in that extra work for 3 weeks? Or are we going to say, boy, I do it and now I get a chance to go to Mexico? Do you want to win this thing or not? Up to you all, gentlemen, and we'll see it. There's no way to hide. It's going to be on the screen. We're going to see the guys who wanted it and dedicated themselves to it. And we're going to see guys that had enough. Thank you all so much. That is a memorable performance, and we'll see you all soon. Look out for the Mexico review soon. All the best. Bye.